Hello, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the meetup on Singapore AI Technology Meetup. So part of this meetup, we'll be bringing you every month a lot of new topics on AI technology. So in this month's session, we are looking at the natural language processing. So we are looking at different techniques and different ways how we can use natural language processing to build applications. So we are looking at first the concepts and what are the tools that is available. Then we are going to look at actually building some examples using Python and creating some solution, and also looking at the not only the text, even the voice technology, how you can interact both and build a really good solution. So this will be really helpful for you to learn about the natural language processing and build application and use it for different kind of applications like chatbot development, the natural language based application development. There are a lot of use cases that we are going to look at in this session. And we are planning to have like every month, really new and unique topics in the meetup, and stay tuned into the meetup group. And we are bringing a lot of new kind of startup companies and startup products, and also AI related technology, the different type of technology streams and technology ideas that we are bringing in into this group. Okay, so the today's session is introduction to natural language processing. So we are going to look at what are the different kind of technologies that is available to create applications. Okay, so natural language processing is a branch in computer science and the AI. So that is widely used in a lot of use cases. There are a lot of components built on top of that. The simplest one is, when you chatbot. So I think if you want to interact with the chatbot in a website, that we can easily interact with using the language understanding and language processing. And there are certain specific language terms also we need to understand when you are building this application. So all the standard languages in the world that we can easily adapt using the natural language processing, because there are pre-built kind of understanding models are there. But if you look at all the language in the world, there are a lot of different dialects and different words, and how the users are pronouncing that specific words, especially when it comes to regional languages. Let's say in Southeast Asia, when it comes to regional languages, there are a lot of different dialects and different ways that people are speaking. So then based on that, we need to understand different techniques to respond to this. And the NLP mostly look at the text aspect of this, but this can go way further, and we can adapt things like audio technology. So that's why you've seen in the Alexa and Google kind of tools, voice assistants, that you have similar capabilities. So we can interact with the natural language. We can talk to them and they will respond to us. So underlying technology is the text language detection, but we can build different layers on top of that. So that's why there are a lot of use cases, a lot of applications that we can build on this. So in this particular meetup session, we are going to look at different techniques that we can use to apply this. If you have any questions, you can put in the chat box, or you can unmute and can ask any related questions for this session. So we look at some of the use cases. As I mentioned, speech recognition is one of the biggest use case where we can understand the language on specific terms that people are saying based on the language. So there are standard language models that we can use to understand the English language. There are different versions such as English UK, US version, and there are other English language versions, and then the standard language in the world that we can automatically understand. But then there are other languages in the world, especially the regional language. If you look at total number of languages, really big number. So then if there's not a standard model is there, then we need to first create that particular model in order to understand what is the dialect and the language. So then the first thing is to create that language model to understand that specific language terms and keywords, because there are certain principles when it comes to linguistics and language language model creation that need to be there in order to do that. But for a standard and the standard language in the world, the main languages in the world, already that is there. Our work is much easier. We can use that specific models that is created, and using that we can use these frameworks that we are going to discuss today to understand these capabilities and build application on top of that. So the speech recognition is a one tool that we can create a speak bot that can communicate with the users where we can create like a conversational kind of a agent. So like a chatbot, we can create a voice bot. So that is doing a conversational bot where we can have a conversation with the particular, let's say you are calling a call center, then we can have the conversation happening with the call center using a voice bot. So at the moment, most of the time it's IVR. You press 1, press 2, press 3, just going through a sequence. But here we can have a conversation, standard set of questionnaires based on that domain. So that is one use case that we can create in that. Then we can also use NLP in different computer assisted coding or typing or like that. For example, in the Gmail, when you type part of the code, it will, if you try to reply, you get a response like a automatic typing in that rest of the code. In Office 365 also you get that. So that is coming from text, and then they're using some deep learning mechanisms to get the predicting the rest of the text what you are going to type. That's going to predict. So then next set of words that you're going to predict. So that used in a lot of text-based application. Even the Microsoft Visual Studio like tools now have a rest of the source code that you're going to type, going to predict. So likewise, there are a lot of tools built into the text editors and text building tools like that, because AI tools always comes in built into the existing tools, right? So it could be a desktop application, or it could be a website or mobile app. Then you have on top of that these capabilities added into that. It could be a chat bot capability, or it could be, as I mentioned, when you are like there's a typing part, contacting with the customers or like that. Then it will help you to type rest of the part. It will predict what you are going to type. So likewise, all the AI applications going to integrate into a specific website or mobile app like that. So it's going to be always like that. So where it is going to integrate into these particular applications, right? So that is how the AI application is going to be. There need to be a website or mobile app or existing system where we can integrate our AI solution into that, right? Document understanding. This is a really good area, because let's say imagine you have a 1,000 page document, right? And you want to summarize into one page. So can you do that? So it's a lot of manual work. It will take a lot of like, let's say you are really good with the reading and on that context, but still it will take a good amount of time to read 1,000 page and summarize into one specific page, or let's say even one sentence, one paragraph, one page, something like that. But we have some packages in NLP that we can do that within few minutes, like even few seconds, we can do that. So it can read through these documents or PDFs. It can read to, I just give example as 1,000 page, but even 10,000, 1,000,000 pages, it can read through. And then we can summarize that into a one page or one sentence, one paragraph like that. So there are a lot of these capabilities, document capabilities that we can use in NLP. Because reading a document, understanding it, getting the summary of that, and there are a lot of analytics we can do. This really good in the professions like law, healthcare, and there are a lot of professions that need to have a lot of document. Even there are a lot of applications created in the legal kind of a contract agreements, kind of areas like that. The document understanding, where you need to read a lot of documents to get a really good understanding about what you are going to have in the document. So here there are a lot of these kind of models that we can create using NLP, that we can read thousands of pages within seconds and give a summary, or we can even do analytics and find specific terms. There are like even we can see any restricted words are there in this 10,000 page document. Manually, you can see if you are using a real person to do that, it will take a lot of time. Even he's 100% professional, but still it will take a lot of time to read 10,000 pages and find that specific term that is available. But some things you can do in a standard the reading software, but more analytic and more understanding, those kind of things we cannot do in that, where we need AI softwares to analyze, summarize, do a lot of things in that. So we can do all these things in the document understanding space. Document work where you have a lot of now digital documents than the manual documents. So we can leverage all these digital documents that we are having in our space. So it could be any industry, doesn't matter. Mostly the PDF documents, that's we are using as a digital document. But even other documents is work where we can add into that specific application, and we can build on top of that. Then the reporting side, again, the same area where we can do a reporting side, analytics side. Let's say, again, let's say we have thousands of pages document and we need to create a report on that. We need to summarize and provide like a visualized report on that. So we can do that within few seconds using NLP technology, but in a manual way, it's take a lot of manual workflow, and also a traditional without AI, again, it's not possible, where I take a lot of other tools and technologies to integrate, but this is more native, and using these tools that we are going to discuss, we can do this kind of process much more easily, where we can read thousands of pages and we can generate a report from that, and it can be sent to the management, a summary of the findings in that document, right? So those are really kind of ways that we can automate, and we can use a lot of capabilities in the document understanding space and also reporting space that we can do. Otherwise, it's a lot of manual process where people need to read the thousands of documents and then generate reports, things like that manually, right? But with these technologies, this can be automated, where you just send the document or upload the document, and within a few minutes or within few seconds, you will get a report about that document, right? So you can even specify what's the things in the report going to be. We can add charts like bar charts, pie charts, things like that, and you get a visualized kind of a form about that document in the reporting space. So we can use for healthcare document, things like that. Again, then if you look at different healthcare and personal document related, then you need to add additional layer of security according to the different security frameworks that is defined by the government and other regulatory authorities, especially for the healthcare. And there are certain sectors that have a lot of sensitive information, but it is just public document or public information. You can use it much more. It's the basic security you can implement. You don't need to go in more in-depth security, but for the healthcare side, then there are certain sectors have sensitive information in the document where you need to have additional security layers set up. And in terms of sharing the data, also you need to make sure that you are make suring those kind of frameworks and regulatory frameworks. But any public related information, or let's say like a organization based document, or like an article or some kind of a contract document, so things like that, you don't need to worry about that much level of data privacy and data kind of regulations, but you need to implement standard regulations in terms of data. But within the organization, any document or anything for that organization, there won't be that much of sort of issue, where you can have standard security and use that document. Anyway, those are internal private documents that within the organization you are going to use. So we can easily use that within the organization for this application without any issue. Then we look at what kind of tools that we need to use in order to build this sort of applications. And of course, this AI technology, so the Python is one of the main kind of language that you need to know. And also the Python-based tools are the one that we are going to use throughout for this development of this application. I think some of you may already using these applications, using these tools. Some of you are completely new to these tools as well. So we'll look at what are the tools you need and what are the frameworks you need, because you don't need to build everything from scratch. Now there are a lot of tools that is there for support us with the development, so you don't need to build from zero. So there are a lot of tools and frameworks are there that's already that we can use the benefits of those features. So where on top of that we can build these capabilities and we can build our application. So nowadays you don't need to build everything from zero or scratch. There are a lot of tools and frameworks supporting us with these developments that we can easily leverage these features, and we can use that. Okay, so the Python tool is one of the main tool that we can use. So this one is a application development tool, the Python and the Anaconda environment. That is one of the main tool you need to have. So within that, we can have Spider or Jupyter Notebook software to build our application. And there's another software called PyCharm. So PyCharm is also really useful software. So PyCharm software, you can work in a project environment. Let's say you are working on this kind of a text-based or this particular use case I mentioned, it's a document understanding project for 6 months, and you have 5 developers working on this project. Then you can work in a team environment where you need to have version controls, Git repositories, and all these things you need to set up, because it's not most of these projects are not like uh, one person doing all the work within 1 month or like that. Can take some time, and there are a few developers can assign for a certain project. So then you can work in this kind of a PyCharm like software where you can have version control, you can have project environments, all these things set up in a much more structured manner, in a team manner where everyone can collaborate, any new developer can come in, or when the developer leave, new one can also easily join in to that. So there are like project management, team management, those kind of components also added into this, where we can easily manage the team and who are the developers and all these version controls in the code and all these things we can easily manage from this specific version. Then we have VS Code, that's open source version in Microsoft VS Code, where we can use the Python based extensions and also the packages that we can easily leverage to build these applications. Okay, the Anaconda is the main package tool that we need to use to build this application, where everything will be compromised, everything will be added, comprised into the one certain package, where data science, machine learning, deep learning, every package, like thousands of there are frameworks are there. So all this added into the Anaconda environment. Even our previous meetup session, we discussed a little bit more about Anaconda. So here we look at the frameworks that is needed for text analytics and what are the different kind of techniques that we can have that we are going to look at in this specific session. So Anaconda is much more broader, where we can have a lot of almost all the machine learning data science related packages installed into one software. So we look at some of the NLP techniques that we can use. So these are not all the techniques, but some of the basic techniques that we can use. And we are going to then implement these techniques as well. So tokenization. So it's a one technique. It's breaking down text into small units and keywords, right? So there, if you look at the text, then it's containing a lot of information. So in that we can understand some certain keywords, some certain words, right? So that is one of the earlier part of analyzing the text, because if you look at specific text, there are a lot of supporting words like this, the, are like that. So these we can even remove, like we call this as stop words. We can remove that because let's say if you look at, let's say, contract, or let's say if you look at a specific document, these are common words. So common words are, it's just common to all the places. But if you want to really highlight what are the actual terms in the contract or actual terms in the document, these keywords are that's giving a lot of value into the document, right? It could be specific terms or specific words. So first we need to analyze what are these words and how many times this word is appearing. What is the connection between these words, right? So this is going into the more language understanding side, where we try to understand the number of text, because text is just, these are 1, 0, just binary data. But we try to get a meaning of this data. We try to get an understanding of this data and get a meaningful kind of insights about these words, right? So that's why first we need to read the documents and get this text. Once we have this text, then we can take these actions, different kind of options that is available for language understanding. So tokenization is mostly discussed about how we can get specific keywords out of the text, Google also search using keywords. So specific keywords are really important in a document, right? So it's analyze these specific keywords. And there's another technique that we can even remove common words. As I mentioned, is all these common words that in the document. So if you remove entire document, these common words, you can see then it's only going to have the important word. So that is one of the advantage using this technique. So you can see this one, stop word removal, where we can remove stop words, like a common words that is available in the language. We can define the language as well, because common words different from language to language. So we can define the specific language, and then we can remove these common words. That is one of the, data science process also, we do data cleaning, where we clean and remove unwanted data, like null values, empty values, things like that. So similarly, in the text analytics in NLP space, one specific thing we need to do is remove these common words. There could be scenarios that we need common words, but most of the time we might not need common words. We need to only the highlight of the other specific terms that's mentioned in that text. So text can come from a web page, it can come from a document, even it can come from voice, because voice can be converted into text, right? So it can come from different places. As I mentioned, these are different things, like it can be an internet web page, it could be a social media post, or it could be a user type text from a chatbot, or it could be a document, it could be a text, the speech, like a voice that's coming in and converted into text. But anything that coming as a text, then we can take this different kind of action, because first, using a text only, we can do all these things. So the first thing is we need to get the text itself, the sentence or paragraph or even 1 million words, we need to get it as input. Then we can start processing of this text, right? So that is what mostly the NLP look at. So we need to find different input methods to get these things, and then we can look at. So stop word removal is removing these common words that is using in the application. And then there's another techniques, even like a few questions regarding how we can apply these in the mobile development, right? Because some of the applications we use nowadays use the mobile application. So there are mobile app. In the mobile app, there's a chatbot. So how you can use this capability in the mobile? Because most of these things are going into the web and web environment when you're actually going to deploy, right? So that's why there are some mobile kits, ML kit, like from Google. You can use the Google ML kit. That's how these capabilities, the language understanding, image recognition, things like that. But it's not advanced as you are doing in using the core frameworks that we are discussing. But you can build something that going into the mobile, because mobile is a completely different environment. So if you want to add this capability into mobile app, this existing mobile app we have, need to add this capability, right? So in the mobile app, user going to upload a document, and then we need to add this capability and provide the report. So then there are two options. One is like we can build this the complete one. Then we can create as a web service, and then we can use the web service capability for the mobile app. So the mobile app can consume the web service, right? That is the main way to connect to mobile app. Otherwise, we can use the ML kit that is already running in the mobile itself, because this is, you can see, developed by Google. So Android phone, even iOS also, they have the ML kit where we can import. So this is as a package, we can import this, and they use the mobile capability itself, the mobile computing, mobile GPU and all this to support these features. So we don't need to like connect from the API. We can directly use the mobile itself, and we can directly connect from the mobile application, and we can do that. So that is another kind of way that we can easily build this application, and we can create from that, right? If you have any questions, you can ask. You can put in the chat if you have any questions, and we have a Q&A session during the end of the session as well. So let's look at how you can work on this, how to install this first, and then how to work on some examples, right? So of course, as I mentioned, you need to use the Anaconda environment and the Jupyter Notebook or Spider software for desktop application. And this NLP package or the NLTK that we are going to use, we call Natural Language Toolkit, having a lot of other sub packages, because let's say there's a package called package for dictionary understanding. Let's say you want to get a specific understanding about the keyword, right? Then you need to get the meaning of that, because for the machine itself, it's just 1 and 0, or like a text, right? It's just data. There's no meaning, right? If you say cat, there's no meaning. So then there are some frameworks within that NLTK that we can use to get a meaning of that data, right? So cat, what is the cat is about? So like you sometimes for some analysis, we need the meaning. So meaning is again a text, like again the data that you can argue, but you get some information about that specific keyword, right? Using a dictionary technique, where it's like a searching in the Google. Also, in the type of word, you get a dictionary like meaning about that word. So you get the same thing in that framework, right? So we look at some of the ways that we can leverage these features. So for this, we can use the Anaconda environment, and then we can use the Spider or Jupyter Notebook. So there are a couple of packages we need to install in order to get these capabilities. So one package is we call as NLTK. natural language toolkit. So that is one of the main language framework that we need to use. So this is the official site, nltk.org. So it's a open source, completely open source. You can even contribute to this package and add new capabilities because it's open source. Then you can see we can install this package. So this is called Natural Language Toolkit. So we can install the NLTK using pip install command. So you can use this command like this pip install NLTK command to install the core basic NLTK language pack. But there are more other things in the NLTK pack that I will explain. So this command will install the basic NLTK into Windows, Mac, or Linux, any environment, because this is again platform independent and open source. That's another two main features that we can see in this technology stack, where we can use this in Mac, Windows, Linux without any issue. And also it's completely open source. That means every week, every day, you will get new features. And also you can collaborate to these features and supporting, like keep improving these packages. So here you can see we can go to Open Terminal, and here we can install you like this pip install command. Then you can see since I already installed, you can see requirement already satisfied. So likewise, you can install these packages into this working environment in the project. Then we can use this in our application. So when we are using this application, as I mentioned, this specific package containing a lot of sub packages, right? Compared to other development or other packages, this package have some unique capabilities. Because of these features, this package have a lot of unique capabilities. So let me show these things. So first we can say import. And yes. Any question? Okay. So here you can see we can say NLTK, right? Download, because as I mentioned, this package containing a lot of sub packages. So to install this, we can use this NLTK.download method. Then when you run this, you can see what happen is it's going to create, it's going to open like another software which is called NLTK downloader. So this NLTK downloader have all the sub packages installed into this specific tool. It's like a small GUI software. You can see if you go to all packages, you can see there are a lot of sub packages, right? So sometimes you might not need all the packages in your application, but it's recommend to use this, because you can see it's not that much bigger size, it's few kilobytes and like that. It won't consume a lot of your space. It's just really small set of packages, but it have a lot of all the capabilities. So other than installing one by one, or other than using one by one, or sometimes, you know, some package looking for dependencies, then you, even though we didn't use it, it might use internally that package. So that's why better to install all the packages. As I mentioned, it's just 2 megabytes, like couple of small sizes, right? All together, I don't think it will go to 200 megabytes even. So you can see, you can install all the standard packages like this. So once you install, you get this kind of a green color. Otherwise, you can only see red color. So initially, you can select all these packages like this. You can select all the packages like using Control A, select all, and then click download. So then it will download from the repository into your working environment. It's going to download these packages, right? So you can select all, and then you can download these packages into the environment. It will take a couple of seconds to minutes to do this, and within that you will install all the packages. So you can see NLTK is containing a lot of sub packages to support this kind of development. So in today's, we are not going to discuss all the packages, but you can see there are close to hundreds of packages is there to do a lot of these actions I mentioned that supporting this initiative. So there are a lot of packages that we have that we can leverage into this, right? Okay. So once you download that specific package, what you can do is then you can comment it. Otherwise, every time you will get this package into your environment. So that will be again a problem. So once you download that package, what you can do is you can just make it a comment. and then we can use some of the capabilities in the package. So next set of the session, we are going to look at these capabilities that is available in this package and how you can leverage these features in your application, right? So here, let's look at some examples, how you can use this package and how you can leverage these features that is available in that. If you have any questions, you can post in the chat or you can ask. I would happy to help. So then here we use some packages. So there are some data sets that is available if you to work with. Sometimes, let's say we don't have enough data to start with, then we can use some data sets that is available in the package. So we can use NLTK.pops package. So here we have some data sets that we can import. So in this, we have this movie reviews package, right? A movie reviews package. Then we can print this movie reviews package like this. So where you can see there are like sort of these data sets are there within that package that we can use, right? So movie reviews. Then there's a specific keywords called words. So we can get the words in the highlights, the words only in the specific movie reviews. So it is going to show the movie reviews, right? And the words like this, and we can get a print of this, right? Right, so we can get the common words that is available in the movie review. That's a really small one. Then second one, where we look at the word tokenizer. I mentioned about how you can get the tokens or the keywords from a specific word, right? So we look at the word tokenizer, how you can get the specific tokens from the specific words. So for that, we need to use the NLTK dot tokenize, right? So in that we can see we can import the word tokenize feature, right? So the word tokenize like this. Then in that word tokenize, we can say give data. Right, I can give some description. I want to be a data scientist one day. Like this. So then we can use this specific text that we mentioned here, and then we can provide the word tokenize. So we can tokenize the text and we can get that. So we can say tokenize text. Right, and then we can get the word tokens that is available in this. So it will break down into a list. I think some of you are familiar with Python list. So this will be break down into a Python list, right? Word tokenize, and then we can get the we can put the data. Then we can print this relevant tokenized test like this. Tokenized test, and then you can see we will get this specific tokenized text into a list, right? So you can run this. So you'll get these specific tokens, right? Specific kind of tokens into a text. So here you can see you can get these kind of specific tokens into a text using this. You can even go to the variable explorer and you can see clear this out. So here you can see tokenized test and you can see the token. So it will be a Python list that you can see. But here you can see still you can see the stop words I mentioned. So that's why, because we need to use the stop word method to remove stop words like all these common stop words. We need to remove it first, and then only we can again apply the tokenize. Then it will remove all this and get the specific terms that is available in this. So that is a one technique that we can use to remove all this stop words, and then we can use the keywords. So with this, if you just use the word tokenize, it will use stop words as well, because we didn't apply that. It just get everything like this into a list like this. Right. So then we look at how we can leverage the stop word capability in the next example. So with the stop words, you can see it's going to remove common words like is, the, all these common words we can remove using the stop word capability. So we can use from NLTK, right? NLTK dot pops, right? Then we can use import stop word, right? So stop word, you can see it's a sub package in the NLTK corps package where we can use to remove these common words. So we can create a variable to be removed like this, to be removed. We can set and we can specify the language. Remember, stop first is different from language to language. You need to specify the language and different standard language that is there. So stop words dot words, and then we can specify the language. Then we can use some paragraph, like I'll just copy that paragraph text. So we can give some paragraph to copy in, right? Like this, we can use the paragraph to copy in, and we can get this application up and running from that, right? So we can use this paragraph to copy in, and we can get these capabilities running into our application. If you have any questions up to now or anything related, you can ask, or you can unmute yourself and you can ask from there. Like if you have any questions, let me know. Okay, so here we are using stop words to remove the common words that is available to be removed, and then the paragraph, just copy and paste some text. Then I can use tokenize, and then the word tokenize, right? Then I can input the paragraph like this. So that is the first part. Then I need to remove the stop words, right? I need to remove the stop word. So I can get the stop word removal like this. Modify list, right? I can iterate the items word for word in tokenize. If not wording to be removed like this. We can going through the iteration, and we can get the list that is needed to get the final output, right? So here we can say print modify list, and we can get the list, right? So here you can see we just use the initially the stop word mechanism to get the text, and then from that tokenize word tokenize, and then we going through the iteration. So remember, if we're applying certain thing into a certain text, we need to iterate the items, and we need to check one by one, or we need to go to the list like that to extract, right? Because need to be analyzed. If you are doing some analysis, it need to be analyzed into that. It's based on the different text. So first thing is to get the text. So this text, as I mentioned, you can get from different sources. Can be from the web page, could be social media post. Like we can analyze a social media post, and we can analyze and provide a report about that, about a specific person. And then we can get from the PDF, right? We can get from different documents like that. Even we can get from the voices, things like that. So we can get these texts from different input mechanisms, and then we can start working on these different capabilities. So as you see in this also, there are like hundreds of packages available for these capabilities, right? It's not one or two. There are a lot of packages available, and NLTK is not only the package for text analytics. I want to highlight that as well. is not the only package for text analytics and text-based functionalities. There are other sub-packages also, but NLTK is one of the far most used package. Then there are other packages also there based on the different use cases, and also any other package like a common package you are using, pandas and other packages, even machine learning data science packages we can use also on top of this. And also like packages like TensorFlow having different NLTK capabilities, and also let's say I want to get the rest of the type code in the output, like that kind of a project that is a deep learning project using RNN, we can create that as well. So then it's a combination of this and other packages together, right? When you are building a complete project like that. So here you can see, as I mentioned, we can use the stop word to remove the common words like is, the, all these common words. And then we input the paragraph and we use the tokenized test. So now you'll get the text output, and you can see the common words are removed, is, the in that, and it's only the specific words that we can start analyzing that, right? Then we can even summarize. There are ways that we can get number of occurrences of a specific words, dialects, and a lot of there are things that we can use in these capabilities that we can use. So that is also really useful set of features that we can leverage in this, right? Then there are other capabilities apart from text, like I mentioned, speech to text, like we can get a voice conversion, and then we can convert into text. Then we can process the text, and then text can be again converted into voice. So now there are a lot of these text to voice, voice to text packages are there, where we can easily add these kind of capabilities added into the existing package development. Let me share the sound here. Okay. So where we can add these capabilities into the application, right? So let's look at example. So for this, we are using PyTTXS3. So that is a package that we are using. So that package, again, you need to install that package when you are using for these capabilities. You need to install this package. So let me show that official website. So this is the one package. Again, this is not the only package where we have a lot of other packages. PyTTXS3, you can use pip install to install this package. So then you can install the capabilities and this containing the voice feature, and also you can convert to audio file, things like that. Then Google also having some frameworks in the Python environment where we can use the capabilities in the Google audio capabilities that we can also leverage in this. So we look at how to use this, and also you can see we need to use this command, pip install this command to install this, right? So you can go to let's like earlier environment, and here you can install the pip install PyTTXS3. So then it's going to install this. So any package not available, you need to install it. Otherwise, it won't recognize by the compiler or by environment. You need to install these packages. Won't take that much time. You can see, and those are really small in size also, not very big packages, right? So let's look at once you install it. Now we can use this package. So we look at how we can leverage this package in our application. So we can import this package using PyTTSX3 like this. Then we can use to initialize this package engine, right? We can use PyTTSX3.init, right? Like this. Then we can say engine.say, right? Where we can give some commands, what kind of a text, even we can process the text, and then we can provide as a variable. So here we can say we can put any text, it's fine. Like this, we can give some text to speech, right? Then engine.say. Like this, then we can initialize and like initialize this process. That means we can start running that code. right? So here we will create engine dot run and wait. So using this method, it's going to initialize. So this is to initialize, then we can say what we are going to say. Then after that, we can use run and wait, and then we can use the capability. So I have shared the sound here in the Zoom. So I think you should be able to hear the audio.
My first code on text to speech. Thanks you.
Yes, thank you. Right. Done again.
My first code on text to speech. Thank you.
Right. So here we can add more capabilities, like we can change the pitch, we can change the volume of the speech, like based on the audience we can change, and there are some frameworks that we can change the type of voice. That's like here this male voice, like we can change to female voice, and there are some other voices that is available. So we can pick those options as well, and even we can give the users to pick that options. And there are more kind of the companies and startups nowadays that creating more natural voices. There are more like the voice space also. There are a lot of other innovations, other things we can do in terms of this kind of voices. We can see this automate voice, but more realistic. So there are even more realistic, you know, the Siri and Google and all this speech. So that's why we can add more capabilities on that. And this open source package where we can even get the source code, and also we can improve it even further. And there are other packages like this that's also use these capabilities, and there are a lot of applications that we can build on top of this.
My first code on text to speech. Thank you.
Right. So we can even initiate a conversation from that, having a conversational discussion. You know, the chatbot that we are used to have, like using only text, then we can create a voice bot having this automated conversation. That's a quite interesting kind of a project. So likewise, we can build a lot of these things by using these capabilities, and you can see these specific things, like we didn't write a lot of code. It's just 10 to 20 lines of code altogether, and this speech feature you can see is just 1 or 2 lines of code, but this Python package helps you to bring everything together, right? Because without these packages, you need to write thousands of code to do this. Even in Python, you need to write thousands of codes to do this, but now you can see with these packages it more simplified, and there are a lot of these innovations, and these open source packages are available in the Anaconda environment, where we can easily leverage these capabilities, and we can build the application, and we can focus only on building our application than creating the specific things like voice or things like that, because we can use the already built-in things that in the available in the environment, and we can easily build on top of that, right? You can see a lot of these capabilities. So here we look at a lot of these areas. So we look at what about NLTK framework itself, where we have thousands of, not hundreds of packages in the NLTK. Then we can get some sample data sets, and we can use the tokenize feature, where in the tokenize feature, you can use the keywords and the tokens that is available, and we can use that. And then the stop word will remove any common stop words that is available, that is added into this. So we can use that subword feature to remove any specific keywords that is coming in. We can remove that. And we can also use text to speech feature, speech to text, both are there, where the voice conversation can be identified, and then we can convert. So in that, we need to specify the language based on the language, and some languages, these models are not created. Then we need to create a working model. So that's why the regional languages really matters, because sometimes those regional languages, there are, you know, like hundreds of languages in the world. So not all the languages there are models, but on the standard languages we have models where we can easily leverage these capabilities. But any language that is not created, then we need to first work on the standard working model on that specific language. Then only we can understand it, and we can provide the meaning. Sometimes even that language we can convert to English, and then we can use all these capabilities if you convert to English. Otherwise, you need to build on this, on that specific language. It takes more time. Google also itself doing these researches on a lot of regional words and regional languages, because you can see the Google Translate and those capabilities that they are doing, and there's a bigger research they are doing. And based on the impact of that language, they are working on other models of that specific languages and regional languages. Especially in the Asian region, you have a lot of variation of languages and dialects and things like that compared to other regions, where in Europe, US, we have standard number of languages, but in Asian region is one of the biggest number of languages are there in different countries. So there there are a lot of research side also there in the research. Though you are from that, if you are from academic side or working in the research side of this, then there are a lot of things that we can do in terms of language understanding, creating language models and certain dialects, and how you can describe the specific languages. So there are a lot of research capabilities and research work that we can do also. In top of that, that's why it's a quite a vast area that we can do. There's a practical side of this that we discuss. Also, there's a huge research side of this where we can come up with language models and language understanding models or voice kind of a conversations, right, based on a specific language. So then you will get a lot of these automated kind of voice responses, chat features, and all these capabilities in local languages. It's different languages also, right? So then you get more capabilities like that into that. But at the moment, all the standard languages in the world that you have, so we can easily use these existing things, and we can build your application much more faster way using that, because that other way is quite a long journey, because first we need to build our language model. That's a separate process. You need to understand the entire language keywords, syllables, and then we need to create a model to create that. Then only we can go forward from that, right? So here you can see some of the examples that we can leverage and we can build on top of this. There are a lot of capabilities we can add on top of this. Let me share the framework details of the NLTK. So in the chat, you can take a look at it. You can go to the nltk.org, and that's the official site. So where we have official information, but you can also go to other like documentations and related work, and you can find a lot of supporting projects and articles to get started with this work. So just practice these things. That's doing a lot of support and help for your projects. You may be new to this area, so that's why you need to work on these areas to keep improving and build applications on these areas. There's, as I mentioned, huge research component also there, where we can work in the research field as well, all the practical side of things, right? So if you have any questions, we can ask. We are coming toward the end of the session. So if you have any questions, you can ask. So if you want, I will summarize what we did. So we discussed about some of the use cases that we can have in the language understanding, the speech recognition, and the different use cases that we can do in here. And then we look at some of the tools that we can use to build the applications, different tool set that we can use to build these applications. And then some of the techniques that we discuss that we can use in the natural language processing, different techniques that we can leverage into this here, right? So then we look at the demo application, where we look at how to install the application, and then we look at different processes like word tokenize, list of words, speech to text, things like that, how we can leverage these things into building the application. And there are a lot of things to do. It's only short amount of time we discuss these things, but there are a lot of things to do in this space, right? Okay, so if you have any questions, you can ask. So this one is the mobile kit. So you can go to this URL. If you want to add these capabilities into the mobile application, if you want to add these capabilities into your mobile device, that we can use directly this. Otherwise, what you need to do is you need to create an API from the NLTK framework, and then we need to share the API with the mobile app, right? So then we need to build the API, and the API is the one that consuming this information with the mobile device. But with this, we can directly use this ML kit in the Google ML kit, where the usage is completely different because we need to use the Google ML kit capabilities to use this, right? So you can go to this URL, and you can see there are a lot of capabilities we have. So the text recognition capability is the one that we are using. So you can analyze and identify the language, recognize text, right, like that. So you can analyze the specific kind of text from this, right? So it gives some examples you can go through, and it supports both Android and iOS. So you don't need to worry about either language. So you can use this in iOS, right? These are built into the device. As I mentioned, these are built into the device, but this doesn't use NLTK, but internally it uses some NLTK similar technique. But these are created by Google, and it's used a lot of like their own internal set of tools to build that. And it uses the device capability to run this. That's another thing. Remember, when you're using these features, it uses the device computation. So your app going to be a little bit slower than the when you're using these things, right? App can be a little bit slower from the performance. So you need to look at performance side. But if you use this technique, your app won't be slower. Why? We are connecting through API. So it's like going to internet. So it's a API consumption. So it won't be that much slower in the performance side. So that is a much more secure way also to communicate in a secure API, so that we can have. Then you can use even all the capabilities that mentioned here, but in the Google ML1, we cannot use those things. It's just we need to restrict it by what they are providing in the Google ML kit. That's the features that mentioned here. We are restricted by them. We cannot use all the features that is otherwise that is available, right? So if you have any questions, we can ask. We are come toward the end of the presentation. If you have any questions, you can ask. I hope you learned a lot of things related to the NLP technology. And we are planning to bring every month sessions like this on different topics, different various areas in the AI ecosystem, the different kind of projects, use cases, startup companies, different speakers. We try to make it more kind of interactive and getting a lot of new information throughout the year. So we are looking to bring a lot of different kind of topics and sessions in coming months. So just keep engaged with the meetup group. And also every month we are planning to have sessions like this, maybe in the morning or evening sessions. You can also send us suggestions of what kind of topics you are interested. Then we can look at those things as well. And if you have any questions further, you can ask also. I'll give 2 minutes. So if you have any more questions, you can ask, you can post in the chat, or you can unmute yourself and you can ask those questions. So if you have any questions, you can ask, even you can write to us. As I mentioned, we are planning to bring sessions like this every month. And we plan to do a physical session as well within this year. So make sure to join into that as well, and provide us with some feedback. Also, your suggestions, what kind of topics you are looking to get from us. And we're trying to bring a lot of innovative kind of the ideas and sessions into coming months, right? Go keep engaged into that, right? Okay, seems like no further questions at this moment. So if you have any questions, of course, you can write to us, and also share, provide the feedback, and also share like any suggestions you might have. And looking forward to everyone in the next meetup also in month of April. To the end of the month, we are looking to have next meetup session. So keep engaged to that as well. And also keep for updates that we are sharing through the meetup group. And looking forward to see you again soon in a session like this. Thank you, and thank you for joining me.